Okay, for number 4, it says solve this, and x is a real number. I'm looking at that inequality. So what I want to do is go to the whiteboard and try to solve that inequality. And to do that, I'll write it down. And what do you get there? Let's take a look. You're getting 1 plus sine x greater than or equal to 2 cosine squared. Okay, I certainly want to do the techniques I've learned in prior courses with quadratics. Before I do that, though, I want to point out, I want to get in terms of the same trigonometric function, and it looks like I'm going to be able to do that using a Pythagorean identity. And the cosine squared is the same thing as 1 minus sine squared. Again, I'm hoping for easy problem at this point. It's going to be 2 minus 2 sine squared. And then I'm going to rearrange it so it's compared to 0. So 2 sine squared, it's quadratic in form, plus sine x, and then subtract 2 from both sides, minus 1, greater than or equal to 0. I'm going to try to factor it. 2 sine, and going to be sine. Looks like 1 and 1. And it looks like plus minus. And let's just check it out. You do get 2 sine squared. I wanted that. Then you get 2 sine minus sine, which is 1 sine. You get minus 1. Now I put my number line down. I'm only going to do the analysis between 0 and 2 pi because the sine function repeats itself. And what I'm looking for is I'm looking for when this thing takes on a 0. And one of the places, kind of easy is when sine x plus 1 equals 0. That's a very easy factor to look at. And that would be 3 pi over 2. So I'll put this down over here. And I'm going to say somewhere over here about. So 3 pi over 2, which is 270 degrees, by the way. And this is 360 degrees. This is 0 degrees. We should be speaking in radian, by the way. Now, the 2 sine x minus 1 would equal 0 when the sine of x equals a half. Now, that's going to occur in the first and second quadrant, and the reference angle for that would be 30 degrees. And 30 degrees is going to be pi over 6, all right? So I have the two angles I'd be getting is going to be 30 degrees or pi over 6. And the other one would be in the second quadrant with a reference of 30, which is 150 degrees, which is 5 pi over 6. I'll put those down. Again, I'm not saying I'm terribly accurate with this. By the way, I should shade this in now because I know it does equal 0 there. I'm going to shade this in too, and that's going to be pi over 6 or 30 degrees. And the other one's going to be 5 pi over 6. I guess it's somewhere about over here. 5 pi over 6. That gets shaded in too because it's 0. And that's equal to 150 degrees. All right, now this is the part that I'm going to analyze the intervals now. And this keeps repeating itself, by the way. So looking at it, the first thing I want to talk about is if I pick the number here, like you might say, what number would you pick? I don't know, any between 0 and 30 degrees. And they're all difficult, by the way. But like if I pick, I don't know, 10 degrees, and I plugged it in, and someone says, where are you plugging it in? I want to point out that where we're plugging it in is in these factors. And we're just trying to determine out, are those factors positive or negative? That's all we're trying to do. And if I know they're positive or negative, that's a good thing because I know where they're 0, but I just want to figure out where they're positive and negative now. So if I did the 10, that second factor, sine x plus 1, is definitely positive. And the first factor, what would I get over there? Let me just think about that. And I would get negative. And why is that? If I thought about it, the number would be below a half, and so 2 times the number below a half minus 1 is definitely a negative number. So this over here is negative, and I would not shade that in, by the way. Now, if I took a number over here, I don't know, like 90 degrees, that's a good number between 30 and 150, and plugged it in, what would you get? Well, the second factor, you get a positive number. The first factor, you're going to get a positive number. And positive times positive, positive. Positive numbers are definitely greater than 0, so I'll shade that in, by the way. By the way, this keeps repeating itself every 2 pi. I'm going to go to the next interval. And so what would you pick over here? Probably 180. Now, if I plug in 180, what do I get? Well, the second factor is positive. The first factor is negative. So this is negative over here. All right, I want to do over here. Again, it's difficult. Pick numbers. What number's a good number over there? I don't know, like 315 degrees. All right. And what would you get? Let me write this down for you. At 315, you're going to get 2 times minus 1 over root 2 minus 1. Well, that's definitely negative. And what do you get over here? Well, you get minus 1 over root 2. That's a second factor plus 1. And that's going to be a positive number. So this is negative. So now I got my solution. Let me get my eraser out, because I'm going to erase this chicken scratch in the side here. And let me see if I can do that. I'll erase this business over here. That was just helping me out with the what the solution was. And let me erase these degree measures, because I really shouldn't have those down now. That just helps me, because I don't like that. You know, I'm going to erase the minus signs now, too. I don't need them anymore. I don't need this. I don't need this. I'm going to erase all those degree measures. Erase this over here. And I do need to write the answer down now. And I'll go through it. And what's that going to look like? Well, what I do know is I got an interval. And the interval I'm getting, I'm going to look at it, is going to be pi over 6, comma, 5 pi over 6. And this interval just keeps repeating itself on a period length of 2 pi. So I'm going to put down 2 pi k here, plus 2 pi k. All right? And this is what x can be. That interval is going to keep repeating itself every 2 pi. I'm going to put k could be any integer in the universe. Like if you start at 1, you get the first interval, so forth and so on. But then I got this other guy. I'm going to say union, and it's going to be a set of numbers. And the numbers are very easy to predict, by the way. What's it going to be? It's going to be 3 pi over 2 plus 2 pi k. And we are done. Thank you.